Yeah, hello, good morning or good evening or good afternoon, yeah, but depending on where in the world you are right now, from where in the world you are tuned into today's webinar. Welcome to the second part of Tool Management 101, our little series of 3 short webinars about tool management, the what, the why, and of course, the benefits. Yeah, so some of you, I guess actually most of you, were already with me here on Wednesday for part 1. Welcome back to all of you. And for the new ones, welcome, and really glad that you could make it today. And really don't worry, every webinar is educational on its own. And I will definitely do a little recap later about what was happening on Wednesday. And right now, a little side note from me. Um, Especially for the new ones, there will be a couple screenshots. I will go into the software, into the live software. And I know these are screenshots from our software, but the webinar is supposed to be brand neutral. It's really about tool management in general, what state-of-the-art tool management can do. And there are definitely different solutions out there. I just want to create awareness and a basic understanding of the topic. And maybe at this point also something a little bit more organizational. We're a really, really big group, which is great. So you all are muted. If you have questions, feel free to use the question tab of GoToWebinar. You can ask questions, and there will be time at the end of the webinar to ask questions. However, it didn't work out perfectly on Wednesday. It was my bad because we were running out of time and so on and so forth. So if you have questions, feel free to raise them, to write them down in a question part of the webinar. And if I cannot answer them today, I will do this offline and you will definitely get an answer. What you also can do, maybe also as a preparation for the last session on April 21st, look me up on LinkedIn and send me your questions. Maybe I can use them for the next webinar. How can you find me on LinkedIn? For that, you actually should know my name at least, right? So let me introduce myself real quick. My name is Robert Auer. I'm Director of Global Business Development at TDM Systems. Yeah, maybe a little. I'm a software engineer by trade. I did spend most of my career in the manufacturing industry, and I'm definitely dedicated to tool management. I mean, to do this for over 10 years now. I started long before Industry 4.0, smart manufacturing hype. Yeah, my background or my current job is quite international. Right now, I focus mainly on the US, but of course also India, China, Southeast Asia, and Europe. However, as most of you, I am stranded at home right now. But if I look outside the window, it could be much worse. It's almost the same as on Wednesday, if you remember. We're talking about blue skies here. The sun is about to set over the lake, so it could be much worse. So without further ado, live from my home office in southern Germany at beautiful Lake Constance, Tool Management 101, Part 2. Why tool management? And let's start with a little recap. What we did on Wednesday was a little poll among the audience. Do you know what tool management is? And 100% said, of course, yes, we know what tool management is. But if you have a closer look, what do you think? What is tool management? It's a little bit a different story because for some, tool management is writing tool data on the back of their hand or using paper documents. I mean, we learned a German word on Wednesday, Zettelwirtschaft, management by paper or paper chaos. Or of course, a lot of companies use Excel sheets. This is probably the most popular tool management system out there. This is not what we were talking about. We were also not talking about these little dedicated island solutions like a vending system, or every CAM system has little tool management software, or machine tools. They also have a teeny tiny bit of tool management. This is not what we were talking about. We were talking about a full-blown dedicated tool management system in which you manage components, tool assemblies, and jobs. Basically a system which supports not the traditional static manufacturing process, but a really dynamic manufacturing operation slash process. So, and of course, I want to do a little poll today as well. And the question this week, and it's of course, I need your feedback. The question is, let me select it real quick. Do you utilize or use your tool management? If you have something in place, could be an Excel sheet, could be anything, do you utilize it to its full extent? And now you can select, yes, I use it partially, I don't use it at all, or yes, I think I use it to its full extent. And it looks like, yeah, 50% is already done. Need a couple more. Perfect. I need 2 or 3 more votes, but it's a clear picture. So 50% of you think, no, I'm not using it to its full extent. 30% yes, or partially, and 20% yes, we're using our own tool management system to its full extent. Let's have a look. So my plan for today, and let me go back to my screen. So let me go back to the screen. My goal for today is, to really talk about the tool management, the why, and show you an example on how customers or how customers are using tool management these days. So maybe one more thing from last week. When we talk about tool management, we talk about the management of the quote unquote so-called digital twin of a cutting tool. And I mean, you all know the physical tool, which cuts your metal, which produces the parts you sell. You can touch it, it has a weight, it has a dimensions, diameter, length, it's cold or it's hot. And the tool management system manages the digital twin with all its parameters, length, diameter, same thing. But there's so many more parameters to a digital twin. It could be a drawing, two-dimensional, it could be a 3D representation of the tool. It could be an article number, a cost. So there are a lot of parameters which come with the digital twin of a physical tool. And this digital representation is used in the entire end-to-end process of a manufacturing of the manufacturing world. So from an ERP system, a product lifecycle management system, a CAM system, vending systems, machines, they all need data. They all consume data from the tool management system. And of course, they send data back to the tool management system. And the goal is that none of these manufacturing entities is siloed or is an island solution. So they're all connected through this single database through the tool management system. So you have one central database and you have multiple systems and you have interfaces which connect everything together. And maybe the last slide for a little recap. Oops, let me go back. Sorry, that was too fast. Last slide for a little recap. What does a tool management do? A tool management system makes sure that you have the right tool at the right place at the right time. And it provides answers. It provides answers in the programming or planning department. So you have CAM interfaces, you have the digital twin. So your programmers have the parameters, the speeds and feeds, a history of a tool, basically at the tip of their mouse. So they can faster or better select the right tool for an upcoming operation. They can easier select assemblies and assemble tools. It's much easier because the system knows what fits together. And see, planning is much easier, faster, because you have the tool parameters, the data, the graphics for programming, but also for simulation. And then, of course, tool preparation, planning, or job planning preparation. You have a transparent organization of your tool crib. So no more time-consuming search. You have, of course, better tool preparation. You have all the tools, fixtures, gauges, assembly drawings, everything you need. You have it in a system. So to make sure you have everything just in time at the machine. Of course, you can include a presetter, and you can also do much better controlling. You have information about tool life, about the usage of tools, the quality of tools. With a dashboard, you can analyze your process. And of course, you have historical information. So this was just a little recap what we talked about last week. So now let's move on with the why part. And if we ask our customers why are they looking into or investing into tool management, these are the usual suspects. I mean, it's nothing unexpected. It's about reduction of costs, be more transparent, reduce downtimes, be more efficient, tool availability, tool reusage, have better control, be more efficient. And these are the main reasons to invest or to look into tool management systems. This is the why. And we have quite a few case studies where we actually check with our customers if they actually achieve their expected results. And this is just a little overview. You can find them on our webpage. And we are more than happy to do a more individual assessment with you guys. So it could be an ROI calculation, it could be a look at the current situation and come up with possible answers to solve your questions. And I really hope that at one point this will include personal visits again, because this is what's actually fun about the job. So, but what I want to do today, because we do it remotely and as a webinar, what I want to do is take one customer case, show them what they do or what they did with the tool management software, and then show what they did in a real life software. So you get a feeling for the benefits, a feeling for the why. And the customer case I chose, it's a company in the US. It's Wackstuff. They're in Spokane, in Washington. So what they do, they develop, design, and manufacture molds, a bit more sophisticated molds and machines for the aluminum industry. And what they have a lot of repeated jobs, but they also have a single part production. So for them, it's also important, first part, good part. I think they're really a very good example because they kind of cover all the bases. And before I switch to the live software, I want to give you a quick overview what they're doing. So what they have like a base tool management module. This is kind of their main tool library. They have the components, the assemblies, the jobs in that library. They have all the documents in there, which they need for manufacturing. They have the NC programs in there. So what this base module actually is, and let me use this pointer here real quick. What this base module is for them is actually their main knowledge base for manufacturing. And maybe let's go back one slide real quick. I actually like the sentence here, and what I especially like is what this operator actually said, Russ Rasmussen, and what, in my opinion, was really good is the first sentence. We now spend more time preparing revenue-producing jobs and less time searching for information. And this is something which keep it in mind for the next 5 minutes. So they have this knowledge base. And of course, they have to fill this knowledge base with tools, with the components. Of course, you can get all that information from the internet. There are web catalogs that the tool vendors supply, drawings, and all that stuff. And what they have in the software, they have an additional piece, a module, which helps to let's just say, first of all, to create new components or tools, but also enrich data which is not yet, let's just call it, good enough for the use in a CAM system or a simulation system. So they can get all the information from their vendors, but they can of course also enrich it and make it, let's just say, better for the other systems in their manufacturing process. One of them, I guess the most important one, is the CAM and the simulation system. So they have a CAM system, they have a simulation system, and those systems access this tool library, the knowledge base, and the tool library provides all the necessary data for programming, parameters, speeds, feeds, 2D, 3D drawing. And I will show this in a second. So this is kind of their main area for actually their product development. And this is kind of the sentence of this operator. We now spend more time preparing the revenue producing jobs and less time searching for information. And because this CAM integration is so important, really let me show you the process real quick. Makes it a little bit easier to understand it later in the software. So you have your tool library, and if you're a CAM programmer, you select the assemblies, you get the geometry, speeds and feeds, everything from the tool management software. You do your programming, and then you send the job, the tool sheet with all the tools needed for that job back into the tool management system. And then you add all the information necessary to do that job. And then you have the main document for your manufacturing process. And of course, you don't do this just for one CAM system. You have, of course, interfaces to multiple systems, multiple CAM systems, multiple simulation systems, and that customer, they're using, that's why I made it a little bit bigger, they're using SolidCAM and VeriCAD for SolidCAM for programming and VeriCAD for simulation. But again, there are quite a few out there. So that's the planning stage, the planning the product to be manufactured. And if you look down on the shop floor, what they're using there is an ordering module. So they make sure that stocks are almost always full. So the order process is automated. It's triggered when a minimum stock level is reached. And of course, the software calculates automatically the order quantity. They have a tool grip module. So you have stock locations for items, assemblies. the tool crib is organized, let's put it that way. And they have an integrated the presetting systems in this tool management cycle or process. So there's a data exchange between the tool presetter and the tool management software. Let me show that real quick, because this is the second interface they have. Basically, the tool management software provides the nominal data and the tolerances to a presetter. And I think Wackstuff has a solo presetter, but of course, again, like the CAM systems, there are a couple out there and we have interfaces to them. So the tool management system supplies the nominal data, a length, a diameter, maybe a corner radius, cutting edge, whatever. And the tolerances, the presetter measures the tool automatically and sends the actual data, the actual offset data back to the tool management system. And the tool management system sends the tool offsets directly to the machine. Of course, this is an optional thing, and it's, as in this case, not every machine is connected to the DNC and to the tool offset system, but it's a way of keeping the operator out of the loop. Not to punch in numbers at the machine. Very, very useful and helps to prevent crashes, basically. So, and now I really want to use the last couple of minutes to show it to you in the software. Not much time left, but I will show you live in the software. And I picked not the shop floor part, but the planning part, because I think this is really the most important part of that process. And I really like this visualization, because it highlights the importance of proper planning. It's a professor from the Technical University of Munich, and it's a couple years old, but it's still true. So basically, in the product development, you can influence the costs of a product. So 70% of the costs for a product are influenced during the product development phase, even though this development phase costs only 2 to 10% compared with the entire cost. So what you do, you can reuse existing tools, you can use the right tools, you can simulate and optimize, you have historical data, you have, it's basically documented facts versus tribal knowledge. And basically what it says is spend more time preparing, that's what he said, spend more time preparing revenue producing jobs and less time searching for information. So in short, every dollar you invest into development and tools to develop better is very well invested. So, and now let's have a quick look into the software, and let's just imagine I'm a tooling engineer or a CAM programmer. I have my tool management software here. It's always the same thing. I have items, I have assemblies, I have tool lists. So let's start on the item level. As you can see, you have a nice search function. You can search for your components. Different ways to do that. The Google-like search. You look for types of tools for the holder type. Or what I'm doing now, I'm use the technology. I'm just click on here because I only have one tool here which fits this technology class. And then you have all the information you need for that component. So I have all the parameters. I have information about the supplier. In this case, it's Walter. And if I click on that, I have, of course, much more information here. I know who is the supplier. I know what's the reorder time, the purchasing time. Of course, I have information about pricing, about quantity pricing. I have what we call a utilization fee. So if this tool is used in operation, how much money does it, or what does it cost to use that tool in an operation? The tool crib is there, so I know how many are left, how many are new, how many are used, how long would it take to reorder it, and of course I have the speeds and feeds. All the information is available tip of my mouse. Of course, the system also knows what we call matching items. So what fits together with this component? And of course, there's a proof of use, so I can actually check where is this cutter, or where is this what is it actually, a drill? Where is this drill used? In which tool list? In which assembly? And let's just check for assemblies. You can see this drill is actually used in that assembly. And as we have a database solution, I can click on it and I'm automatically transferred to the assembly. And of course, I have all the information here as well: the parameters, the bill of material, the speeds and feeds, and of course the parameters for CAM systems. And this is the nice feature. Our system now knows automatically if the tool is suitable for different CAM systems. Why is this important? If you look at the parameters CAM systems demand, I'm going to choose 2 to show you. Why is it paused? So this is Esprit, for example. Esprit needs parameters like this. They need a 3D graphic of the entire tool, and they need a DXF of the entire tool and a DXF of the cutting part. A different system, Top Solid, for example, I like it because it's a different, it really shows the difference. Top Solid needs quite a few different 3D models in order to work with, in order to use this tool. So what I'm trying to say is every CAM system has a completely different demand regarding the digital twin, and the tool management system has to make sure that we provide the right data for the systems. Okay, so you have all information here. And now let's just really quick assume I would not have the assembly ready to build. I have to build one from scratch. This, of course, is also super easy. I don't have to use a CAD system or something. I have a database. So the only thing I have to do is I have to select the cutting part, and I use something a little bit more complicated. For our tool management system, more complicated in this case means a turning tool because it's not rotating. Let's use the cutting part. And now the system automatically knows which parts fit together. So the only thing I have to do, I click on this plus button and I can select fitting parts. So the system knows those 4 parts would actually fit to this cutter. I'm going to select one, and everything now is done automatically. It's assembled automatically. So now the only thing I can do, I can change, oopsie, I didn't want to do that. I can change the diameter here real quick to, let's just say 70, bam, and I'm done. I just created a tool assembly from scratch. And if I would save this now, the system would automatically create the perfect digital twin for this turning tool with all the parameters you need in your CAM system. So, and I'm almost done now. Now you go into your CAM system. The CAM system, you can select your cutting tools, you do your programming, and you create a tool list. You save this tool list in TDM or in the tool management system. And now you have your tool list, your job sheet in the tool management system. And this is now your main document for your manufacturing workflow. You have the tool assemblies needed, kind of the job list. You have, of course, the components which you have to get in order to assemble the tools. So all the information is right here to start your manufacturing. You have additional information, you have the production documents, everything here, tip of your hand, tip of your mouse. So this is what a tool management system can do. And next week, what I want to show, of course, is the workflow. So this was the planning part. And next week, we're going to talk a little bit about, I will show the workflow in the software. But I already used a little bit too much of my time. So I'm going to stop sharing the application. Let's go back to the presentation. Here we go. So basically, that was it regarding the live presentation today. If you need more information, that's what I said also last on Wednesday, our YouTube channel is quite good. There are a couple of videos out there which show the manufacturing side, a simple show which shows how to use a tool management system on manufacturing. And I really, if you're a CAM programmer, I like the CAM videos, which really show the integration between the tool management system and different CAM systems. And as promised on Wednesday, we had a little time to really show how a tool management system can look like these days. So now, yeah, 20 minutes. I was a little bit too long, 24 minutes, but I still want to ask you at this point, are there any questions? Feel free to write them in the chat window or in the question window. And whatever I cannot answer, I would, of course, do this offline. So, and looks like there are, and Jutta, correct me if I'm wrong, there are no questions, so please feel free. Yeah. No, that's a very good question. What percentage of customers use a Tool ID chip system? There are a couple out there. There's systems like Bello for Eugner. You can use barcode systems. You know what? I'm going to put the questions regarding Tool ID chip systems into the next session on next week. And to be fair, it's not a big percentage. Automotive, let's just call it mass production, it's a little bit more. In like this small batch production, it's a thing which becomes more and more important, because you want to identify individual tools, like you want to serialize tools, and it becomes more and more important. But it's on the rise, let's put it that way. But I will talk about tool identification systems next week. But thank you for the question. Okay, before we stop, before we end this here, I have a second poll, of course, and the question is, yeah, was this webinar actually helpful? And of course, would you like to have more information? Feel free to answer this with an easy yes or no. It's easier than the first one. And thank you, the votes are coming in. It's almost like the Eurovision Song Contest here. L'Allemand de Dupont. Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you. And with that, and I'm really sorry, 5 minutes later than expected, I'm done for today. I'm really happy that you were able to spend some time, listen to the webinar. I really hope I can see some of you, or I can talk to some of you again next week about tool management. And I really hope we can discuss tool management in the near future again in person. And as Wednesday, also today, please stay safe, stay healthy, and thank you, and see you all.